Hi, and welcome to Ending Collective's Indian Changemaker Fellowship Full Application Facts webinar. The mission of Ending Collective is to build the power of Indigenous peoples, communities, and nations to exercise our inherent right to self-determination while fostering a world that is built on a foundation of justice and equity for all people and the planet. The Ending Collective vision is a world that is just and equitable for all people and the planet. To provide you with a little bit of an overview of the Changemaker Fellowship, this is designed to support the personal resilience, sustainability, and power of Indigenous leaders over the age of 18 that are working to defend, regeneratively develop, and decolonize their families, communities, and nations. We believe that by investing in your strength, stability, and expanded growth, we are in turn investing in your family, community, nation, and the world. And now we'd like to introduce you to your support team here at Ending Collective. My name is Penelise Strohs. I'm an Anishinaabe. I'm a program officer within the foundation that will be caretaking English and French-speaking applications.
My name is Nicole Llanes. I am Opata and your other program officer and caretaking of Spanish applications as well as English. Key to this support group and this team is Tina Cookham, Anishinaabe Director of Grant Making, as well as Billy White, Aguala Lakota Grants Manager, and Tiana Begay Dene, Program Associate. Billy White and Tiana Begay will be supporting you with any questions regarding your Flux portal. So we're here to support you, and we're going to get a little bit into the fellowship structure. This fellowship is a 12-month fellowship that starts April of 2022. It's meant to support 21 Indigenous leaders in what is now known as Canada, Mexico, the United States, including the islands of Boriken, which is Puerto Rico, Hawaii, Guam, America Samoa, North Mariana Islands, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. It's meant to support leaders who are working to defend, develop, and decolonize their communities and nations. It consists of a flexible award of $75,000 for fellows and the regions in the United States and Canada. It goes $50,000 to support a living stipend and $25,000 to invest in their development and pathway to thrive as leaders in the areas of well-being, coaching, mentorship. We'll get into the rest of that. For the fellow regions in Mexico, the breakdown is different, slightly different. This fellowship is self-designed and very independent, which means that we're seeking applicants who are already working and dreaming and acting for change. We designed this fellowship to support their development, to sustain and build what you are already doing, have been planning or wanting to do, have been dreaming to do, and just need that extra amount of resources to make it happen. This fellowship, as you will see in the questions, is not project-based. And that's one of the main questions that we ask, if this fellowship is project-based, and it's not. It's to support you as a leader. You do have goals that you want to accomplish, and you will build that if you are a recipient in your Changemaker plan. You also start building that in your full application, but it's not super project-based. It's to support the person as a leader as a whole. We are going to get more in depth into all of the components of the fellowship. So there's different components to the self-designed fellowship. One is the theory of change, skills and education, healing and well-being, mentorship and coaching, and building a support network to support you as a leader. The journey of the fellowship begins February of 2022 with a 4-day Changemaker Fellow convening. It officially starts in April 1st of 2022. And in May of 2022, there's the Indigenous Art of Leadership retreat, where fellows will get to participate in a 5-day leadership retreat designed to deepen, catalyze, and strategy map their experience. Even though the fellowship begins in April, what happens in February is an orientation of the fellowship to answer any questions and orient you in the fellowship year, then to officially start in April 1st of 2022. The Changemaker plan is built between February and April. The requirements of this fellowship is a monthly journal and reflection, which then you get to comment on other fellows' reflection, at least 2 other fellows' reflection of their journals. And finally, one optional gathering, hopefully in person, that will then enroll you into an active alumni program.
So the application process, you have until October 8th, 2021 to complete your full application. It will be reviewed and you'll receive notification by November 9th if you've been advanced to interview. The top 2 candidates from each region will participate in an online interview between November 10th and December 1st. And then final candidates will receive notification by December 15th, 2021. So the full application is the seed of what will become your more fully developed Changemaker Fellowship plan. This application begins with the development of a personal theory of change. The theory of change is an area that we get a lot of questions about. So we're going to spend some time talking about what a theory of change is right now. So a theory of change is, what change do you envision in the world? It is your thought about how this change happens. And it lays out what your role is in relation to the process of change. An example of how to begin a personal theory of change is to just write down your vision. What is your dream world? What is your vision? A lot of the times this can get pretty lengthy. I suggest writing just a stream of consciousness on a paper. Write what your vision is, and then see if you can condense it and get it down to a couple of sentences or a paragraph of what your vision for the world is. And then on the other side of the page, write what the challenge is or where you're at now on the opposite side of the page. In the center of between your vision and where you're at now that's going to be the bulk of it. What are the things that need to change or be in place to allow that vision to come to reality? And then also, what are generalized strategies that you can pursue? You don't have to write all of the little details, because we know, for systemic change to happen, a lot needs to take place. But what are the generalized strategies that you can pursue to allow these things to change, or allow these preconditions to change, to be in place? And then what is your role? Not one person is meant to carry all of the force, all of the forces of change in the world. What is your role in these strategies? And note what it is in relation to the change you seek to manifest in the world. We wanted to throw this example up. So this is Andean Collective's theory of change. Up at the top is our mission that we spoke about in the beginning of this webinar. And at the bottom, that is what we envision, is this a world that is just and equitable for all people in the planet. And so working backwards, how can Andean Collective use its skills and privileges and work to advance a world that is just and equitable for all people in the planet? And how do we envision that? So this is our map. Feel free to take a look at it. Please also understand that the black boxes at the top lay out our 5 entities. So this can look very complicated. This is an organizational theory of change for a collective organization made up of 5 different organizations. So please do know that this might seem very complicated, but we wanted to share what our theory of change was for our big organization with you as we're talking about theory of change.
Thank you, Penelise. As you can see at the top is the mission, right? What are we trying to do? And at the bottom is, this is where we want to get to, right? And in the middle of, this is how we will get there.
Another way of thinking about a theory of change is to use the visualization of a tree. So the challenge, you place the challenge at the center. The effects of the challenge, you can write, are the branches upwards, and the root causes of the challenge are at the roots. Then you can visualize the tree as a positive statement. So your challenge becomes the work that needs to get done. The effects of the work rise up with the branches, and the foundation needed to affect that work for change are the roots and the soil. We included this YouTube video here of a tutorial that we found helpful, so feel free to check that out. Here are two other resources that were also helpful, that we found helpful as we were digging around through good resources, because the theory of change, it can seem a little bit little up in the sky and a little theoretical, but these tools online might also be able to assist you develop your theory of change, your personal theory of change, for how you see your impact and your role in affecting the change in the world that you see needs to happen to allow your vision to come into reality.
Other questions that are part of your full application that you can see are education and skill building, healing and well-being, mentorship and coaching, and networks and community building. So the question regarding education and skill building, here this part, we want to support what you're already wanting to do to help you. What skills do you need as a leader? What education have you been wanting to receive? It doesn't have to be a formal education, but it sure can be. It can be a community-based education. It can be a training. It can be a direct action, whatever it is that you would have been wanting to get. It can go from trying to build, building and sustaining coalitions, to how to create strategies to effectively make change. How do I learn and from successful organizations and initiatives? How can I develop a business? So it can be anything that you wanting to receive and build on. Healing and well-being is going to support your path into healing and wellness, right? What's going to sustain you for the next 10 years. So it can be anywhere from your meal plan prepping, your gym membership, your ceremonies, anything that's going to support your healing and well-being. Mentorship and coaching, there is a requirement for fellows to meet quarterly with their mentor or coach. It can be a professional coach, or it can be a mentor in your community, somebody that you've been wanting to learn from, or it can be both. So there is that requirement. And so this is where you get to share why is that person or those people important for you as a fellow in your growth. And who are they? Sharing with us a little bit of who they are and why you're seeking their expertise. And network and community building, we know that as leaders and change makers, it is important for you to have a support network, whether that be in your community, within your family structure, or bigger than that in your organizations or nationally. And so we want to make sure that you're building those support networks that will support you in the next 10 years of your leadership. Some other common questions that we get is budget. Does the full application require a budget? No, we don't. If selected, the budget will be developed along your Changemaker plan after your first convening in February. You can revise the questions in the LOI in addition to the new questions in the full application, and you can go ahead and deepen those answers if you want to. There is no character limit in this full application part of the process. However, your full application should no longer be than 10 pages in length. We do recommend that you follow the hints and the tips that we offer on our website when managing the Flux system, to upload your work, to fill out your application, And we do recommend that you copy and paste the questions and your answer from the LOI and the questions in the full application and work on them in a Word document or in a Google document so that you don't lose your work if you're working directly in the Flux system, because sometimes it can kick you off or the may not save. So we do recommend that you download them, that you start working on it from a document, and that document is no longer than 10 pages in length. And then you copy and paste it and upload it into the full application in your portal.
Yeah. Yeah, so thank you very much for your interest in this Indian Changemaker Fellowship. Please check out the resources that we dropped in this webinar. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to outreach to Nicole or I. We are excited to support your applications. Thank you so much.
Thank you.